景球を持ってると募集最後のシェイバンだ
The Post, it flies. The news. Look, Ma, no wires. The Times, blue bomb buzzes metropolis. The Planet. We're sitting on top of the story of the century here. I want the name of this flying whatchamacallit to go with the Daily Planet like bacon and eggs. Franks and beans, death and taxes, politics and corruption.
Good evening, ladies and gents. What is up, everybody? It is I, Decrepit, the hooded lad in the corner of the cantina, and we are back once again for another great episode of Hang Out With Your Floppy, where we talk comic news, superhero-tisms, and review our favorite books, trades, and strips. So I hope everybody's been having a good weekend. No pun intended. I hope everybody's been enjoying their Friday, Saturday, Sunday evenings and everything and whatnot. I myself ended up going to a local comic convention, actually, guys, Saturday and Sunday over in the Central Valley, more like the Fresno area. We ended up having a comic convention, a little bit on the lower scale, and I picked up quite a few definitely some goodies that I've been having my eye on for a while. So I was happy that I was able to make those additions, those fine additions to my collection. So I, for one, had a great weekend. So hopefully everybody's doing all right, and I can't wait to get into it. We're going to talk, of course, some new comics of the week, but we're going to do that towards the end of the show. And then we're definitely going to be starting off with some news talk about Supergirl, and then a little bit of a discussion on that the Spider-Man movie that's going to be coming out. We got Spider-Man Brand New Day that's going to be coming out, what I believe, like next month, in the month of July, year of our Lord 2026. So yeah, a few things to talk about tonight. Relax, grab your alcoholic beverage or your popcorn, and let's go ahead and talk some nerdtisms. All right, so first things first, I think we're going to go ahead and discuss Supergirl, because that's what's coming up first. Tickets went on sale for Supergirl over the weekend, and apparently the Supergirl tickets is already I guess you could say a foresight or a foreshadowing of what's going to be coming down the line as far as the hype and the response for that film. So we got an article right here. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up on screen, and it's going to be from cosmicbook.news. I don't know why I always butcher that site's name. We always go to them for a lot of references, so I don't know why I can't remember. But let's go ahead and pull this up on screen. All right. So this is coming from cosmicbook.news, and it's titled Supergirl Ticket Sales Are In, and They're Worse Than Black Widow. So for those that don't remember, there's probably a lot of people that do remember. Like, how could you forget? Black Widow ended up being a real big blunder, and this was around the time of like COVID that was going down. Oh, I forgot to put on my background music. Hold on. All right, there we go. So yeah, Black Widow released during the COVID era for superhero films. We all know that was like a real weird time. A lot of movies were going straight to streaming on Disney Plus and other streaming a lot of streaming applications that you guys could get a lot of movies and your favorite shows. A lot of people were just jumping straight to it instead of going to the theaters, because nobody was going to theaters because everyone was scared to go out, and all of the regulations that were going on as far as like quarantine and what have you. So Black Widow was definitely one of the projects that suffered because of this, and we ended up seeing Black Widow not really get the reception that they were quite hoping for. And I remember it was Scarlett Johansson. I think she was very upset about the fact that her film, her like solo title film, didn't actually get a theater debut, or if it did, I don't think it lasted more than like a week or two. I want to say that it didn't go into the theater right away. I think it just this was one of those films that they jumped straight to streaming for this one. So that upset her quite a bit. And I think I want to say that she took them to court over it because it was something that maybe she didn't agree upon correctly, or it was just something that was never detailed exclusively to the public on how it was going to release. But regardless, Scarlett Johansson was definitely not pleased with the fact that this movie went straight to streaming, and it was her solo film. And after, mind you, after the fact that they killed off Black Widow in the Avengers Endgame film. So that definitely was weird to see, like, oh, like, we know that this character, her path on this line of movies that they set up for the MCU film series, basically she meets her end in Avengers Endgame. So the way that she ends like that, and then we're going to just jump back to a time when she was alive before she ever was a member of S.H.I.E.L.D. Was even considered to be an Avenger, that we're going to give her like an origin story. Myself, I watched like a little bit of the movie here and there, but it wasn't enough to like actually keep my attention. It definitely, I feel like if this film was well done and it was something that was worth talking about and sharing around via word of mouth to a lot of other fans of Marvel, I think that this movie would have done well. But evidently this movie did not do well, so it ended up tanking. Given the fact that it went straight to streaming, that also didn't assist it at all. So this article reads right here, Supergirl tickets are in and they're worse than Black Widow. And it proceeds to say the early ticket sale numbers are in for Supergirl and they're not good. According to Portal Box Office, Supergirl sold approximately 110,000 tickets in its first 24 hours of availability in the United States, grossing around 1.75 million in pre-sales. Yikes. That is a scary number, isn't it? For context, that puts the DCU film below several recent superhero benchmarks at the same stage. Superman, for example, hit 325,000 tickets, equaling around to $5 million. Black Widow hit 175,000 tickets, equaling out to 2.4 million. And then Thunderbolts, 160,000 tickets, equating to 2.5 million. So it's man, dude, that's crazy that Thunderbolts barely did better, and Thunderbolts had a whole lineup with promo and trailers and everything, and had a theatrical release. That's very it's kind of sad. But the article goes on as follows. It says, the only major superhero film Supergirl comes out ahead of is The Marvels, which sold 95,000 tickets for 1.5 million at the same point. Yikes. A film that went on to become one of the biggest box office disasters in Marvel history. Yeah, I remember when Marvel's hit, there was a few people that may have mentioned it. I know I went to the comic shop and it was mentioned like once or twice, but no one really cared about the Marvels. Eternals, I know that Eternals did better than that film, did it better than quite a few, but Eternals still isn't one of those movies that's regarded as something that's like has replay value and you want to watch it again. So yeah, that sounds about right. The Marvel's doing that bad, and Supergirl just comes out ahead of the Marvel's ticket sales. That's not a good omen, not a good sign at all whatsoever for this film. The article continues saying, based on the current pre-sale pace, Portal Box Office projects Supergirl is eyeing an opening weekend of just over 55 million. Sheesh. Which is consistent with earlier tracking that had already flagged the same number as the ceiling. For more on the upcoming DC film, check out our Supergirl guide. So, man, dude, like a lot of projections get thrown around by people. Of course, places like put out their articles and what have you, and like a lot of people are still like chattering up about box office numbers, and we don't actually know the proof about it until we actually see the movie come out, and then it like has its first weekend sales, goes throughout the week, and then you hit the second weekend sales. So a lot of numbers have to be, excuse me, I had a mosquito on me. A lot of numbers have to be worked out in between for you to exactly get the impact that you could say a movie is going to make in the theaters, and like how much people are going to be responsive to it. So definitely not a good omen, not a good sign for this film. And the consensus is Jesus Christ, that a lot of people don't really give a shit. This Supergirl movie is not going to be it's going to be a little blip on the timeline of James Gunn's DCU. It's not going to do exactly what he's planning that it's going to do. We did see how there's some more trailer footage of David Cornsweet, aka his Superman, is being shown off in the movie and having moments with like Kara or the Supergirl character landing on Earth, and then her talking like Kryptonian to him, and then him not exactly knowing Kryptonian. He's like talking to her in English and he doesn't understand her. There's like a language barrier thing there. So I don't know. He thinks that maybe that David Cornsweet's Superman has like the gravity and the pull to get people to come to the film to fill up the seats in the theater, and maybe if they see him in it, maybe that'll bring them in. But as far as like Supergirl is standing on its own 2 feet, with that aside, the fact that Superman's going to be in the film too, I don't think that the draw's there. I don't think Jason Momoa as Lobo for this film is going to be the draw that a lot of people are hoping that it is as well. So, there's not many things that are like looking very up for Supergirl and its release. So the article continues a little bit further, saying right here, the Flash comparison. Oh boy, we're going to compare it to the Flash movie. That 55 million projection is significant because it mirrors the Flash, which opened to 55 million domestically in 2023 before collapsing at the box office. The Flash had a reported budget north of $200 million and was widely considered a financial disaster for Warner Brothers. Gunn is also reported to have been involved in changing the ending for Flash. Oh yeah, that sounds about right. As we reported earlier, Supergirl is estimated to carry a budget of roughly 170 million with a break-even target around 425 million worldwide. That is, man, there is just mosquitoes in my room right now. I don't know what's going on. The lower budget gives the film more room than The Flash had, but a 55 million opening would still put it in a difficult position to reach that number. Man, I have to say that the talk and the buzz that was around the Flash film, like because they inserted of course Michael Keaton into the film, that was supposed to be a big seller, that was a big moment, but like talk about like a moment wasted, a moment that definitely could have stood on its own if you brought back Michael Keaton's Batman and say like a Terry McGinnis situation with like a Batman Beyond film, like that may have worked a lot better. And the fact that was one of the things that they hung over our head when the Flash ended up tanking and not doing the kind of numbers and the reception that Warner Brothers wanted it to. And there was also like the articles were being put out after Flash was appearing that it wasn't going to be as successful as they wanted and as they hoped, that they were like, well, if the Flash movie did well, then we were going to get a Batman Beyond film with Michael Keaton in it. And I hate that kind of rhetoric. I hate that kind of talk being thrown around. Like sometimes, man, I hear that stuff and I'm like, who do you people think you are? Like the people that run and are in charge of these IPs have the balls and they have the gall to like threaten these kind of things over fans' heads, like saying like, oh, like you didn't support us, so we're not going to give you the thing that you really, really want to see, which is Michael Keaton in a Batman Beyond film. And I'm not saying necessarily people were wanting Michael Keaton in a Batman Beyond flick. Like it could be done for sure, but that's definitely something that would have been way more open to fans being more receptive to it versus the Flash film that we received Michael Keaton's cameo, not even cameo, just his guest spot in that film. So it's definitely tragic, and it's very heartbreaking to hear this kind of rhetoric sometimes from studios and people that are in charge of studio projects, and the way that they talk about fans and them not supporting their trash garbage films. But yeah, the Flash comparison, that's pretty ragged right there. It continues saying, Portal box office notes that the pre-sales for Supergirl in Brazil are still terrible, a worse start than the Flash. International performance will be critical for any path to 425 million. We're gonna rely on Brazil to make our sales for Supergirl. What kind of mention is that? Like Cosmic Book, I don't know what they're on with that mention, but that's kind of a reach. It says the warning signs keep adding up. The AMC app crash that briefly generated fake ticket hype did nothing to change the underlying numbers, and the first 24-hour pre-sale count confirms it. Pre-sales are one of the clearest early signals of an audience intent, and right now the signal is weak. The Marvels comparison is the one that should concern DC Studios most. That film had the same pre-sale energy, or lack of it, and became the cautionary tale the industry still references when discussing what happens when a superhero campaign fails to connect with general audiences. That was a mouthful and a half of a sentence. I mean, yeah, I've heard about the generated fake ticket numbers, and dude, like when we're talking the internet and digital age things, like numbers can be inflated and lied about so easily that it doesn't even take AI bots to be the ones that are behind it. It could just be shitty people, or even people that are in the industry that want to not be embarrassed so much that their numbers are tanking, or they have a lot of bad negative reviews or responses, so they will have like these shields up by these other companies that run the platforms to protect them basically, and they just give them X amount of money and they'll take away a lot of bad criticism and make sure the algorithm doesn't push it. So I could definitely see that being just artificially manipulated by who knows what kind of entity out there wants to make that happen. I mean, for Christ's sakes, like we're on YouTube right now and you can't even see the amount of dislikes that are on videos. I'm pretty sure if we were able to like see, like, if normies were able to see the amount of like dislikes and likes on a lot of trailers, then that would be a big eye opener and a lot of people would be able to talk about it more often. But of course we have the like the third party sites and the software to be able to see dislikes still if we use them on our computer. But a lot of people don't have that ability to use those third party viewing softwares to see that. So it has to be reported by a lot of more people that are trying to get the word out there that like, hey, like these companies just want to protect themselves and they don't want criticism and they don't want any negative reviews that are going to tank their chances at hitting the numbers that they hope for. So definitely shifty and shady stuff that's always lurking about with these corporations. Where did I leave off before I started going off? It said, as we've covered, the core question around Supergirl was always whether casual moviegoers, not just DC fans, would show up. Pre-sales at this level suggest they are not yet convinced. Yeah, you fucking think so? That's so wild, man. Like they always say casual moviegoers. We want the casuals. We want the normies. We want this modern audience, not just DC fans. Like excuse me, what company is making this movie? DC, right? And what kind of people have supported DC properties? I'd say the DC fans are that. No. So such weird language to use when talking and discussing about something such as a superhero film, that they don't even want superhero fans to be the leading charge for the ticket and theater sales and seats. So such weird rhetoric, dude. I just don't understand sometimes why these people are in the denial that they are with, like, you hear people always saying, oh, there's Jason Momoa's Lobo. But you always hear people saying, like, oh, like the superhero fatigue is real and there's too much stuff being pumped out. And, I just don't think that's the case. I have to wholeheartedly disagree with that. I just simply believe the fact is that they just can't get superhero stuff right. They can't get it correctly. And, do people overanalyze and criticize stuff? Sure, there's a amount of that. There's a percentage of that out there. But you have to realize that when you're dealing with properties that derive from comic books, that of course there's going to be people, and a majority of the fans of that said property, that are going to fine tooth comb stuff because it's been in existence for however many decades. Like I want to say like Supergirl's been out since the Golden Age, if I want to recollect correctly. I want to say that Supergirl's been out since the Golden Age. Let me real quick, I'm going to do a side search real quick, just so I'm not talking out of my ass. Supergirl first appearance. Supergirl was in the Golden Age. Action Comics issue number 252, May of 1959, was Supergirl's first appearance. Kara Zor-El. Created by Otto Binder and Al Plastino. Yep, so there you go. Yeah, been around since the golden age, and for her to be a character, a legacy character, you could argue, and for her to get this kind of treatment, the way that they're depicting her, the characterization that they've given her, this is all James Gunn. This is all James Gunn's Supergirl. This is the way that James Gunn sees Supergirl. This is what he wants to portray her as. This is the likeness that he wants to give her, the attitude that she has, and like the just blatant disrespect probably towards Superman that we've seen time and time again since the self-titled Superman film. It's just we all know what he's doing. We all know what James Gunn is doing. He's an egotistical maniac, and this is just the way that he wants to craft his universe and the way that he sees it. It's all by his image. All right, so the number, I think this is the last paragraph right here, guys, and then we'll get to chat. 3 weeks out, Supergirl opens June 26th. Pre-sales are not destiny. Numbers can move, but the first 24 hours are the easiest hours. This is when the core fan base, now we want the core fan base, the most motivated buyers show up first. If 110,000 tickets is on the floor, that floor is low. Warner Brothers needs a marketing push that reaches beyond the DC faithful. Right now, the pre-sale data says it hasn't happened yet. Supergirl opens in theaters on IMAX on June 26, 2026. You know, dude, right there, like, let's dial it back. This is when the core fan base, the most motivated buyers, show up first. Needs a marketing push that reaches beyond the DC faithful. Like, of course, you want to reach a bigger fan base, but like I'll tell you right now, man, if the main fans, like, people know fans in their own personal life that are fans of either Star Wars or Marvel or DC, what have you, like, people know people know other people in their life, like family and friends that are fans of this stuff, and they'll just go ahead and ask them. They'll ask them for their opinions. Like, I have a lot of people in my family and friend groups that know that I'm a Star Wars fanatic. And if something comes out, a lot of them already know what I'm going to say because they know how much I hate Disney Star Wars. But the ones that don't really ask too much of my opinion, they'll ask me something like, "Oh, like, what'd you think of Mandalorian season 2?" And I'll just be like, it wasn't for me. And I won't like berate them and go full on like rage nerd mode on them, because I know that they're a normie and it's going to be a little bit of a waste of my breath to like freak out on them. But there's definitely people that have asked me my opinion on, like, Zack Snyder's DC run, and how do I feel about James Gunn when he made his Suicide Squad film, and like, what do I think about his Superman film? And and I don't hold back. I'm very quite honest about it when people ask me that are more on the normie side. And I'll just be like, like, if you really want to be like comic book accurate or lean towards that way, I just wouldn't go towards this project. We already have damn near one of the most perfect Superman films, and that is Christopher Reeve's Superman film from 1978. And I think there's few people that would disagree with me on that note. Of course, nothing is ever like truly perfect. We could have got more out of the first Superman film. And then there's people that say, well, of course you have the sequels decrepit, and I hear you, but after Superman 2, Superman 3 and 4 aren't really looked at with kinder eyes on the past when it comes to the Superman films. So yeah, I'll just leave that there. But anyway, people do ask your opinions on stuff, and the normies will ask fans. And I feel like there's fans out there that are just blind followers, and they will just say, everything's awesome, everything's good, everything is awesome. They'll just say that about everything that they watch, man. They just love it. And that's kind of a lot of shill activity, regardless if you're a Star Wars fan or whatever property that you're shilling for, and you just want toxic positivity in your life. So yeah, I think that it's very bad to kind of like pseudo disregard the fans, like the main fan base, and then try to shoot for this like non-existent audience that you always think is out there, and it's going to come and gravitate towards the creative things that you're putting out there. But it doesn't even land for them because they see how much backlash it gets from the main fan base. And I think that right there is just proof in the pudding that you shouldn't disregard the main fan base, because they're like your echo of the project that you're about to put out, or the reception that it's going to get. So don't disregard the fans, don't piss off the fans. And I already think that this has already done enough. It started back in Superman 2025 when we had that end scene with Supergirl in the Fortress of Solitude, with Superman. So yeah, I just think that this is going to be there's bad omens all around, and especially this main actress right here that's playing Supergirl. Didn't she say something? Didn't she end up saying some shit like about fanboys or like Christian dads or something like that that are not going to want to go see her movie? I forget exactly what she said. Regardless, though, we all know how much how much it makes people want to see your movie even more when you start talking down about a lot of the people that are probably more of the main demographic that are going to go watch your film. So we all see how that turns out, and that's such a good choice to make. But anyway, yeah, Supergirl going to be a blunder. We're going to find out June 26th. So we will see. We will see. And I'll go ahead and stop sharing that one. That'll be it for that. Let's get back to a normal view. There we go. All right. We had some people in the chat. Let's go ahead and talk to them real quick. We had Brandon the Awesome come in the room. He said, to think I watched Black Widow on Comedy Plus. Yeah, like I said, Black Widow ended up going straight to Disney Plus. It ended up not being anything really crazy. And it pissed off Scarlett Johansson to where she sued the company that was hiring her for this longevity of amount of films that she was in. So it ended up being really messy. Brandon said also, that's what Millie Alcott gets for insulting Christian dads of four. Got you. Yeah, I was pretty sure I was right on the money with the comments that she made. Remember the comments that were being made for the show, like from the Acolyte actors? Like, man, how embarrassing was that? How embarrassing. I need the clip of Yoda saying how embarrassing. I see Spider-Man, A Brand New Day doing better because, for one, Superman bombed last year and Tom doesn't insult the audience. Well, I don't think I don't know if I can say off the top of my head, was Superman a bomb exactly, or did it just perform poorly? I feel like there's a big difference between the two, but I'd have to look at the numbers again for Superman 2025. We got February in the building. You said, "What's up, boys? What's up, February? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hail." Webslinger's in the building. Hey, yo, when you going to collab with Thinking Critical? That's a big leap, bro. I think I'm very small in comparison when it comes to like creators on YouTube and like comic book space stuff, because even still, I'm not fully like a comic book like channel or a commentator, I guess you could say. Like, I dip my toe. I dip more than a toe into like comic book talk and here and that, but I definitely am like a novice when it comes to speaking and like being more elaborate with conversations about comic stuff. I definitely would. That would be sick. That would be cool. I'm a big fan of Thinking Critical. I'm a big fan of the show that he does on Saturday mornings, Comic Aficionados. Big fan of the show. I watch that every Saturday. So yeah, I can't comment on that because I don't know those gentlemen really like that. I think I've spoken to Dylan. Dylan, the real comic book gamer. I've spoken to him a couple times, and he real nice guy, real cool guy. I would have him on the show or like do something with him because I feel like me and him align more as far as like our the generation that we come from, as far as how we came up as comic fans. So that would be a nice discussion for sure. But yeah, I definitely am a fan of Thinking Critical and the aficionado show that he does. That would be really cool. But one day I'm not gonna invite myself or ask those people or push for anything like that. I'll just get a little bit bigger over here in my corner of the cave that I dwell in, and you never know what the future holds for sure. Said, gosh, one of the reasons I hate summer mosquitoes. Yeah, man. I was sitting there reading the article and I had a mosquito like fly in front of me on the screen, and I like smacked it with a post-it note real quick, and I had to kill it. Mosquitoes out here too in like the West Coast and the Central Valley of California, they are murder. Big fuckers too. February said Flash should have been a send-off to the Snyderverse. I don't want to say that. I don't know if I agree with being like an official send-off for the Snyderverse, because like we had one of the most poorly received characters from the Zack Snyder movies, which was the Flash. I think Ezra Miller is a horrible casting choice for the Flash. I think he's a horrible person in real life, and it just kind of seeped into the way that he portrays certain characters. I don't want to see Ezra Miller in anything superhero related especially depicting one of the top like legacy characters for DC being the Flash, Barry Allen. So yeah, I don't know if I can agree with that. If we wanted to see a proper send off, like the Justice League film or a sequel to the Justice League film or something where it had all of the original cast with like Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, and Ben Affleck. One of the biggest crimes that I feel was made because of the Snyderverse was the fact that we didn't get the Ben Affleck solo Batman film. I really stand and I'll die on that hill that Ben Affleck was one of the best Batman depictions that I've ever seen in live action. He doesn't beat a few of the goats, of course, like Michael Keaton's up there, and you can say what you want about it, but I like Val Kilmer. I like Val Kilmer's depiction a lot. His Bruce Wayne is excellent, and rest in peace to Val Kilmer. But I think Ben Affleck was up there, dude. I bet Ben Affleck, his presence, the way he fit the suit, the design of his suit, his demeanor as Batman and as a Bruce Wayne, it checked a lot of boxes for me. And I just feel that Ben Affleck, his solo Batman film was pure highway robbery that we didn't get that. So that definitely bothered me a lot. And hopefully, I don't even know why I'm saying hopefully. We're not going to ever see it happen. But in an alternate timeline of this world that we live in, hopefully I would think that it got made somewhere in the multiverse that is our existence. But yeah, Brandon said they pulled the same garbage with Starfleet Academy, saying we may not get any more Star Trek if it tanked. Yeah, they threaten you if you don't promote or share their projects, that they're definitely just going to be spiteful towards the fan base, that it's your fault that we aren't getting this because you didn't support this. That's it's such a shame that that's the route that they choose to go. But that's what we were expecting from a lot of these people, a lot of these activists and people that never really had full hearts and minds when creating with these IPs. It's very sad. Webslinger, what's up, Webslinger? I don't know if I said what's up to you. He said we'll never understand why Gunn jerks off to Superman, Woman of Tomorrow, treats it like Next Watchmen. The comic even got a compact comic edition. You mean Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow from 2022, the Tom King book? If that's what you're referring to, then yeah, it's a travesty that's what this movie's based off of. And like you could argue that Superman 2025 isn't really based off of a particular comic, if that, he picks and chooses. This is why I can't stand James Gunn and the way that he wants to do the DC universe. He picks and chooses what's based off of a comic book, a story that he makes up along the way, a story that he definitely bases off of a particular cartoon moment, or there's like scenes or dialogue that he'll rip from stuff. That's what, dude, I can't stand this when I'm gonna calm down, I'm gonna get agitated, but like James Gunn does it, Dave Filoni does it, J.J. Abrams does it. A lot of these people that have been in charge of a lot of the bigger things that we've been so critical of, I should say, that a lot of these people, they just pick and choose and they cherry pick things that stands out to them, or like, oh, like this was my favorite comic book, this was my favorite line, and I need to make sure that I put it in my movie. I need to make sure that I put it in my show. The thing that was written, like something that I read and I liked. But a lot of fans are going to be like, huh, like, and then they want to emphasize the importance of what they inserted into the project, and they're like, huh, like, do you see that, you see this, like, you see why we're freezing the frame on this moment, like it's because this is a good moment, you should like this. And a lot of people just kind of like are like, oh, okay, like I guess so. Anyway, Webslinger also said, hate the reason people justify drunkard Supergirl is because she saw Krypton die compared to Superman, as if other characters haven't had a tragedy. Yeah, and she doesn't even come off like she's in a wallowing like dismay about it. Maybe there's been some of that like kind of previewed in the trailer. I've watched one of the trailers, and then I saw that footage about her crashing on Earth, and then Superman basically like meeting her. I've seen that footage, but I don't know how messed up she's gonna be from the destruction of Krypton, but we'll see. Like I said, he's picking and choosing what he wants to portray in this film, and also too, it's based off of a comic book from 2022 written by Tom King. So we just don't know. Animated Superman movies are underrated. Not gonna lie, Superman and the Elite and the All Star Superman deserves more respect, in my opinion. I like All Star Superman a lot. I like All Star Superman a lot. That's a good one. I like, oh, dude. You know, one of my favorite ones to watch that they did an adaptation for and animated was Superman Red Sun. That was a good one. I was always a fan of that storyline. I read the trade paperback of Superman Red Sun, and then I watched the film the year after they released it, and I've always been a fan of that depiction. The fact that they made Batman like a terrorist kind of, that was pretty so different angle, but it was kind of neat for sure. Brandon said, I actually do know a blind lover. Dude makes me sick. Blind lover. Huh? What do you mean? I'm not a box office genius. I just see a movie fail and I say it's a bomb. Still learning. Yeah. You know, I hear it. I hear you. Did start reading the John Burns Man of Steel miniseries. That one's not bad. That was not bad at all. Webslinger said, not gonna lie, their takes on Star Wars are kind of trash. Typical OT good and PT and George Lucas bad. Oh, on the aficionado show. Yeah, man. Well, what do you expect? A lot of the no disrespect, but a lot of those guys are older, so you know that's pretty on par. That's pretty on brand with that generation and their opinions on Star Wars. It'd be cool to see you on Comic Aficionados, though. Y'all can rip Tom King a new one. Hey, man. Like I said, you never know what the future may hold. But you know, shout out to those guys. Shout out to Thinking Critical. I'm a fan of the show and this channel. Brandon the Awesome said Affleck was a great casting choice for Batman. I wish he got a chance to make his Batman movie. Yep. I too wish that. Would you rather have gotten the solo Batfleck movie or the Matt Reeves Batman? Maybe it's a hot take, but I totally would have rather have gotten the solo Batman, the Batfleck movie. I would have rather have gotten that. Like, you know, like I know that there's good things in the Matt Reeves Batman, but you know, I watch it and I just can't help but feel off. Like that movie makes me feel off for some reason. I don't know why. Like there's just things that don't add up entirely. I see the vision. Matt Reeves is not a bad director either. Those shots are amazing. Gotham looks good and gritty, but there's just things that I see next to each other. Like I see Robert Pattinson in the suit next to the Batmobile that they gave him in that movie, and I don't know why. I just can't. I can't add them together and make it make sense. It doesn't feel Batman to me, you know. So maybe that's just a senseless kind of opinion to have, but you know, yeah, I don't know why, but the Matt Reeves Batman just doesn't mesh too well for me. But so I definitely I think whatever Ben Affleck was going to come up with for his solo Batman film, whatever he did, they're probably happy that he didn't come out with it, because it would have been a hard thing to follow up on if they tried to attempt to do any other Batman stuff after that. I think that it would have knocked anything out of the park. Websinger said, I mean Supergirl, by the way, my bad. Yeah, no worries. I'm pretty sure that's what you meant. Solo Batfleck movie. Would have been cool, man. Would have been cool. I wish it happened. What do you think of Batfleck killing, though? You know, I think that at that point this is an older Batman. He's been Batman for a while now, the way that Zack Snyder depicted him, you know, and Superman's a little more fresh in the scene, obviously. But I think they were definitely leaning more towards like Dark Knight Returns Batman, as we could see, like via the way they designed the suit and the way that they laid out the what's the word, the motivation for Batman in that film. He's very gristled, he's very angry, he's very upset, he's very anti Kryptonian aliens coming on Earth. He wants to kill Superman, you know. And so I think that that point of the Batman that we're getting. Of course, it's breaking his no kill rule, but I think that we were looking at a Batman that was at his wit's end, and he was up to here and dealing with how many, like, dude, like, oh, there's so many Easter eggs. Like, I know I'm not trying to divert away from the question, but there was just so many things in the Batman versus Superman film when you see the Batman scenes, and we have the Joker writing all over the Robin suit, and I want to say that that's Jason Todd's Robin suit when Joker killed Jason Todd. So I think that there was a lot of like Easter eggs, and there was some seeds planted on what Batman's solo film would have been. Maybe we would have gotten more of a deep dive into the psyche of why this older Batman is at the point that he's at, and maybe he's come close to killing Joker a few times. Maybe, I don't know. Like there was the scene too when we got in, is it Suicide Squad, where the flashback scene of Harley Quinn and she crashes the car underwater, and then she like opens her eyes, and then Batman like just straight up punches her in the face, and like punches her and breaks her nose, or punches her in the nose and knocks her out. Like, this is a Batman that doesn't give a fuck. Like, this is a Batman that gives zero fucks. He brands people for prison for them to get killed in prison. So I don't know, man. Like, it's definitely different. It's definitely not our typical viewpoint of the way we're used to seeing Batman. But I kind of liked it. I kind of liked seeing that Batman, that take on him. So as a character, if that answers your question, Web Slinger. You mentioned people who blindly love stuff, which reminded me of this one idiot who fits that profile. You said, I actually know a blind lover dude that makes me sick. Oh yeah, like toxic positivity and just loving stuff for the sake of liking it. Yeah, yeah, there's quite a few of those on YouTube. That's everywhere, man. Yeah, but appreciate the feedback and the conversation from you guys tonight, man. Shout out to the chat. If you guys are watching this on the replay, shout out to you guys in the replay crew. And of course, if you're not haven't already, make sure you're subbed to the channel and like and share the stream. I would greatly appreciate it. All right, let's go ahead and get into our next little topic that we wanted to discuss. There was some leaked trailer talk about the new Spider-Man Brand New Day movie. I don't know if anyone has seen anything like that, but let's go ahead and get into it. Oh, I didn't even play my clip. I didn't play the clip for when we talked and discussed about comic book news. Is it too late? Nah, it's not. Nah, it's not too late. Let's do it. Fuck it. Let's play it. All right. Oh. All right, there we go. I had to play it, guys. My bad. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back to it. So we're talking Spider-Man Brand New Day. And I don't know if anyone's been following it so far, or anyone's been following like the news or the promo or footage, but we, from what I've seen, of course, we're following along the story that was left off with us in No Way Home, to where we're getting a Peter Parker that is forgotten about by everyone that knew who Peter Parker was, or who Spider-Man was. What was the actual finite thing? Wasn't it that everyone forgets Peter Parker? Is that what it was? What the wish was, or the spell that Strange did? Was that everyone forgets Peter Parker? It wasn't everyone forgets Spider-Man. It was everyone forgets Peter Parker, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. Like, I have to rewatch No Way Home in order to remember. But I do remember seeing Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. That's definitely the standout, even though that film was very bad. It was a bad movie. Like, all in all, it was just as far as a film is concerned, No Way Home is a bad movie. Oh, excuse me. All right. Anyway, so that's coming into this. Everyone's forgotten about Peter Parker, and they forget that he exists. And so now we're going into a Peter Parker that has nothing. He has no family, no friends. He's living in an apartment by himself, and hopefully he's trying to get work as a photographer for the Daily Bugle. But I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I've definitely said it before, and it's no secret. I'm not too crazy about Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man. I'm not crazy about. Like, dude, just look at this guy. I don't know why, but he just always, every time I see him, he just looks like a wet frog. I don't know. I'm not trying to be a dick, dude, but I don't know. Every time I see this guy, he just looks like off. But anyway, I'm not too much a fan of Tom Holland's like portrayal of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. I'm not a fan of the direction that they went with Spider-Man in the MCU. How ingrained and how tied in he is to Iron Man, and the infatuation he has for Iron Man and Tony Stark. Like, separately, aside from them being being about Spider-Man and superheroes, the relationship between Tom Holland's Peter Parker and Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, the way they portrayed it is cool and it's decent. And when he dies and there's emotional moments between the characters, like he had like a pseudo father figure, but I'm not a fan of it, man. I'm not a fan of a young kid Spider-Man still in high school, and he's a tutor, being like under the wing of Iron Man. I'm not a fan of him having like an Iron Man level suit damn near all the time. Like Iron Man's the one who gave him his suit and gave him like the AI program in the suit, the AI artificial assistant inside of his suit. I'm not a fan of that a whole lot. And like all the tech that he has pretty much is created by Iron Man Stark Industries. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm just not too much. I'm not too crazy about it. So anyway, we're getting back to basics with this portrayal of this film. Spider-Man's going back to the boots on the ground, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. No crazy things in the suit, basic suit Spider-Man. And hopefully it goes in the direction of something along that. But I think definitely that we're not going to be getting it in the way that I would hope we are. So this article reads because we got some trailer leaks that happened recently, and apparently it's saying right here there's major spoilers for Spider-Man Brand New Day, but if there is, we'll see. But we're going to read a little bit of this. So it says for the cast and crew, sorry, I'm all over the place scrolling. For the cast and crew of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's something of a running joke that Spider-Man actor Tom Holland is terrible at keeping secrets. Yeah, I remember that. I remember he like spilled some stuff, and he's horrible at like when he's doing sit down interviews because he can't shut the fuck up. So I definitely remember that being something. It says, because of this, everyone used to be reportedly cautious about what they told the actor for fear that he might blurt something out at the worst possible time, which he did. In recent years, Holland has seemingly gotten better about keeping secrets under his cowl, and his thwips, Jesus Christ, are usually sealed about Marvel spoilers. Unfortunately, it doesn't really matter when someone else is doing the spoiling. Case in point, the latest trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day just got leaked online. All right. And it says, originally, this trailer was supposed to release on June 17th. So getting to see it, albeit in crappy low resolution, over a week early is a pretty big deal. This trailer is also notable for going beyond hype and revealing some major plot points about the movie, some of which have huge ramifications for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Oh dear. Oh no, oh buddy. We've got a full breakdown, but don't forget that this is going to be full of spoilers from beginning to end. As you'd rather be completely surprised when the film comes out, be assured to avert your eyes. As for the rest of the true believers, keep reading to discover every juicy new secret about Spider-Man Brand New Day. All right, guys. So I guess if this is spoiler territory, if you don't want to hear it or you don't want to know what they're going to say, maybe mute the stream for a few minutes while I talk about this, I guess. But anyway, it says... what happens in the leaked trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day starts out with Spider-Man fighting some hand ninjas inside a prison. Perhaps what is most notable about this is that it reveals a climactic moment in the earlier trailer with a bit of misdirection. Remember that wild shot of Spider-Man and the ninjas flying at each other hundreds of feet in the air? This leaked trailer confirms this shot takes place inside a prison and not high above the streets of New York City. Soon after this, we see that Spider-Man now has the kind of organic webbing made famous by the Sam Raimi trilogy of Spidey films. Uh-oh. organic webbing. Now he doesn't do spider cartridges anymore. I guess it's for the plot. He talks to Bruce Banner about suppressing DNA, and Bruce confirms that he has suppressed his own thanks to a special device that keeps him from hulking out. I just want to say that real quick, dude. Like, we're getting more of Mark Ruffalo Hulk in this movie, and dude, I'm just I don't want to get into it right now. I want to finish this article and then I can spaz out when we go back to talking in the chat. But yeah, this isn't the way that I would picture this going, with Hulk being involved in a brand new day Spider-Man film. It says afterward, the trailer speeds up and we get plenty of action scenes, including Spider-Man fighting the Hulk. Hulk is bigger than ever in his iconic gray Hulk form. Appears to be mind controlled by Sadie Sink's character. Don't know who that is. While she is not named in the trailer, some think this moment is proof that she will be playing Jean Grey. What the fuck? Get out of here, dude. Get out of here. This speculation is wild. We're going to get a little girl playing Jean Grey in a Spider-Man film? What do we think about that? You guys let me know. We're going to talk about it afterwards, but still, yeah, let me know what you think about that. That if they portray like a kid Jean Grey in a Spider-Man film with the Hulk, dude, what are we doing? What are we doing here? It says how Spidey got his groove back. There's more action as well as some narration by the late great Aunt May about what else, the relationship between power and responsibility. Yeah, because they had to give it to her because they didn't want Uncle Ben in this for some reason. We get a glimpse of Spider-Man fighting ninjas with a kind of web tornado. Oh, and a really adorable scene of Spider-Man carrying Mary Jane out of danger, just like before. There's some major peril and what looks like a building falling down on Spider-Man, but the leaked trailer ends with a fun comedic moment in which Spider-Man is about to fight a prison security guard. Rather than jump right to the fisticuffs, though, our hero begins talking about how important stretching is. Okay. And then it says, while heads will likely roll that it got leaked so early, this trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day has successfully gotten fans hyped for the movie. Really? Has it really? Everyone is eager to see Gray Hulk on screen. Well, why is he gray now? Is that like the effects of the suppression DNA thing that he's got? I don't know. And even more eager to seeing him throw down with everyone's favorite webhead. Plus, while Sadie Sink's identity hasn't been officially confirmed, her apparent use of telepathic powers has X-Men fans convinced she's the new Jean Grey. Throw in some quirky comedy and exciting action scenes with fan favorite characters like the Punisher. Oh yeah, Punisher's in this movie too. I did forget about that. Excuse me. It says, and this looks like one Marvel movie Marvel fans won't want to miss. It may drop earlier after leak, but otherwise the trailer will be officially released on June 17th. Meanwhile, Spider-Man Brand New Day will swing its way into theaters on July 23rd. So there you go. Supergirl on June 26th, and then Spider-Man Brand New Day July 31st. We are going to be swimming in the critique space of this when all of this ends up actually releasing and we can watch it finally. I can't wait. It means we're gonna be able to make videos and stream and talk about this on unlimited tirade. I can't wait to watch Supergirl and then talk about it with Narrow Dark. That's gonna be a fun one. That's gonna be a fun episode and stream. But dude, it said it right here. He was carrying Mary Jane, who still doesn't know who he is. I just don't know, if everyone's wished that they forgot Peter Parker, but then we're still focusing on this Mary Jane, this version of Mary Jane, and then his buddy. What's his buddy's name again? Was it Phil or Ned? Yeah, Ned. His buddy Ned, and then the Indian version of Flash Thompson. Yeah, dude, I'm sorry. I think all of the casting for Mary Jane, Ned, and Flash is just all wrong. I think that's definitely casting choices of the times that we are in, for sure. So, and I don't understand why Zendaya's what? She's older than a teenager, but now she's going to be depicted that she's back to being 18 years old, if I'm not mistaken. That's going to be kind of annoying to witness when you know that this chick's been already in like adult oriented films and TV shows and moments and stuff like that, and then they want to bring her back down to this role of like little old Mary Jane Watson. That's the love interest of Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Really interesting choices. And I can't stand the casting for Flash. I think that actor, I don't have a problem with the kid himself, but I just think that's a horrible casting choice for Flash Thompson. If you're gonna have him being one of Spider-Man's main like side characters, I just think it's horrible casting. So the casting that they had for Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, what's that guy's name? I forget his name. Let me look that up again. I'm going to look that up on the side because I forgot his name. Amazing Spider-Man movie actor. Chris Zilka. Yeah, Chris Zilka. I just see a picture right now of Joe Manganiello as Flash from Sam Raimi. I totally forgot about that. But yeah, Chris Zilka and Amazing Spider-Man. What a good casting. What a great casting. Like, how do you go? How do you go from Chris Zilka to Tony Revolori? That's crazy to me. Like talk about missteps. But anyway, yeah, Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to be coming. Clearly, there's some spoiler moments. It doesn't sound like this is fake either. It sounds like this is pretty on par with a few of the trailer clips we've already been seeing. So yeah, this is going to definitely be the Spider movie of all time. I also saw that somewhere was talking about how this Spider-Man film is one of the longer. It's either the longest or one of the top two longer Spider-Man movies that we're gonna ever see. I think they said that it rivaled like closer to like an Avengers runtime. It's gonna be longer than 2 hours, so it might be like if it's like 2.5 hours of this Spider-Man Brand New Day, and you're getting Hulk, and then apparently you're getting Kid Jean Grey, and then Punisher. Yeah, they're gonna be packing a lot into this instead of just doing a grounded Spider-Man story where we forget about him in the Avengers affiliation. We forget about him and Ned, fake Flash, and fake MJ, and just start a brand new. And it's titled Brand New Day, but I feel like this is just going to rehash everything from the past of prior films, and we're not going to actually get a fresh take like everyone hopes. I think this is just going to be more of the same formula just thrown into a new package, to be honest with you. So yeah, I just think no one needs to hold their breath when it comes to this, but we'll find out when it finally releases on July 31st. But yeah, so that's all I have to say about this one. Interesting stuff for sure. All right, let's go ahead and let's look at the chat real quick. You guys said okay, sorry. Oh, I get not too much. Let's see real quick. February said Gunn announced that the creative team behind The Flash will be doing the DCU Batman before the movie flopped and is too stubborn to change the team. I have zero excitement for DCU Batman. Shoot, dude, if they ever make a DCU Batman film, what are they supposed to be doing? Like Brave and the Bold? Isn't that the quote unquote Batman film that we're supposed to get with James Gunn's favorite Robin, Damian Wayne? I don't care what anyone says either, man. I know there's people close to me that like Damian Wayne. I get it. Like Damian has like an intrigue as far as a character and what he brings to the table. Like what as far as the dynamic of him and Bruce Wayne together. But I'm sorry, man. Like, Dick Grayson will never be beat. Like Dick Grayson is the Robin, in my opinion. So that's all I'll have to say about that. But yeah, the creative team behind The Flash is doing the DCU Batman. That doesn't bode well, and that tells me probably exactly what I can expect. More trash for the pile. Brandon said, "Everyone forgets Peter exists so he can save the universe." Yep. Yeah, I remembered. And Brandon said they're giving Peter another AI in Brand New Day. They are repeating the same damn mistakes as the Home trilogy. Got into a fight with SK over it on X. Don't know that last part, but yeah, the him getting another AI in Brand New Day, that won't shock me. That will not shock me whatsoever. And real quick, man, shout out to SWA, one of the best mods on YouTube. He's in the building. What's up, bro? Good to see you. It's been a while. But yeah, I just Tom Holland, I really wish they would just put it to bed. They would just give it a rest. I really hope that this doesn't open a can of worms and we're gonna get another trilogy of Tom Holland playing Spider-Man. I don't want another 3 films with him playing the character. I really don't. Has there been moments like where Tom Holland is like he's decent in another movie I've seen? Sure. I'm sure that I could go back to a few movies I've seen with him in it, and I'm saying like, yeah, like I don't have a problem with it, but I don't want another trilogy with him playing the character. I'm over it. I'm done. I want, like, we were robbed honestly with the shitty writing that Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man was given, and they didn't take it as serious as they probably should have. So yeah, it really bums me out. For sure bums me out. Brandon said, Brand New Day is going to be yet another disaster. I think it's going to make money. I think it's going to get people in the seat. People are going to go to that movie for sure. People are definitely going to go see Brand New Day in droves as compared to Supergirl. Man, dude, I really hate the fact that we're in this space now where like James Gunn's DC version of his DC films is making people not like DC as much as Marvel in the on the silver screen now. Like there was a point where Marvel was just crushing and DC was just very minuscule and not as looked at as like an equal or a giant as compared to how Marvel was. But now we're definitely going back into that slippery slope where DC is not held in high esteem as far as next to Marvel projects, and it's just yeah, it's all James Gunn's fault. The casual audience hates Spider-Man. First the Spider-Verse movies, excuse me. Now Tom's crap. The casual audience hates Spider-Man. I don't know. I might beg to differ. I think that there's a lot of casuals and normies that actually like Spider-Man. They'll like Spider-Man more than they like Batman or Superman or other characters like that. I think Spider-Man, not to discredit it, because I'm a fan of Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man. I'm a big fan of Spider-Man, the animated show, and like Spider-Man comics from the 90s. Silver Age and of course Silver Age and Bronze Age Spider-Man's great, but the 90s era of Spider-Man is probably some of my favorite work. I love and I adore Maximum Carnage, that event, and then the Planet of the Symbiotes, anything with Venom. I just think that it makes sense with Venom and Carnage and Spider-Man being adversaries. So yeah, I think that their mistakes were made. Mistakes were made, but that's why there's a lot of bad taste in a lot of people's mouths when it comes to these characters and the depictions that we see of these characters. SWA said, just watch Spider Noir. Ooh, what'd you think, man? I feel like I don't care much about these modern videos and shows anymore. Fair enough. Sometimes something might be decent, but it will never have the magic like it used to. That's a fair thing to feel. That's a fair thing to feel. Your feelings are valid. Spider Noir, I've documented it on the channel here, and oh my gosh, I'm gonna get nailed to a fucking cross for this. I didn't watch the last episode yet. I'm gonna watch it tonight, okay? I'm gonna watch it tonight, I promise. But I liked Spider Noir for what it is, and I enjoy it. I think it's good. I hear you what you mean, like the magic of certain things, and I hate the debate being brought, or the debate point, I should say, of it being brought up that like, oh, you don't feel this way anymore because you're not a kid, and when you're a kid, everything feels so new and so exciting still to you, and I beg to differ, man. I really hate the accusations of blaming the fan base and the aging of fan bases is why things don't feel the same anymore. I truly think it's just because these studios got so lazy. They got so lazy and so content with putting out subpar project after subpar. Once quality started to drop, that's when it started to become a bigger issue, and definitely the fans took issue with that. So yeah, I hear you. There's also a lot of projects where I feel no matter what they do with the character or what they do with the IP, that they just can't bring it back. Um, I've heard that, you know, that new He-Man film has just released, and there's a lot of He-Man. It's divided a lot of the He-Man fan base. There's people that say it's dumb, wicked fun, and you know, like it doesn't portray He-Man the character or his alter ego properly. But they say that Jared Leto's Skeletor is excellent. It's perfect. You know, there's things that people are picking apart, they like and they dislike, as with everything that we always do. But yeah, so if things divide fan bases, sometimes it can be a good thing, sometimes it can be a horrible thing. And yeah, but yeah, I feel that Spider Noir was one of the better projects that I've seen so far this year. It's definitely like top 5 project that we've gotten so far in like the superhero space. So I will say that I'd rather rewatch Spider Noir over Supergirl, and I haven't even seen Supergirl yet. I just know it's not going to be anything to really, really turn your head. Brandon said they support movies that outright destroy Spider-Man. The Spider-Verse movies replaced him with Miles and Punch Peter down, and Tom as Iron Man Jr. Yep, that is true. SWA said, just watch. I already watched it a few weeks ago. Gotcha. New York Florida man is in the building. What's up, man? Hail to you. Shout out New York Florida man. How is Jared Leto still working in Hollywood? I just don't get it. Dude, Jared Leto is such a weirdo. Doesn't he have like that cult thing up in the hills somewhere here in California? Or is it in some other state? Regardless, dude, there's a weird thing with him. A whole lot of weirdness and a whole lot of questionable activity. That guy does a lot of weird stuff. For sure. I can't say if he's a PDF file for certain. I'd have to look into it more on my own time. But yeah, I definitely think he probably could be true. SWA said there used to be a lot more care. Nowadays it's here and there. Yeah, hit or miss. Sometimes a project you see care peek out through bits and pieces of things that they put in the project, but as a whole, like, you can't really co-sign it, or just you can't let it slide. We'll say that you can't let it slide. February said, gotta infiltrate the Jared Leto cult for a video. I know, right? I just go and it's like a POV, like Meta glasses, the Meta Ray-Bans, and I just wear those and I just go in and I'm like, I'm here for the seminar, and you just see Jared Leto come out in like a robe. And he just comes out in a robe with long hair and a long beard, and he's like, greetings, my children, and then I just go and I'm gone. And that's as far as I go. I just leave. I don't even want to get like deep into it. I'm just like, yeah, this isn't for me, and I just leave. That'd be fucking funny, man. Yeah, but all right, guys. I think those were our two topics, the two of the main topics that I wanted to cover for this episode. I think this will be a good time. We can get into new comics of the week. So let's go ahead and let's get into that now. Of course, as always, we're going to be looking at leagueofcomicgeeks.com for one of the best and easiest ways for us to depict and see and preview one of the entire list of the comics that are dropping this Wednesday. Today of this stream being June 8th, and Wednesday being June 10th is going to be the day that you want to go pull up to your local comic shop and go see some of these issues if you want to pick them up and check them out off the shelf. So let's go ahead and look at that real quick. Share screen. All right. New York, Florida man. Real quick before we start, he said, I find it tough nowadays to amp myself up for anything nostalgic. It's like I already know I'm going to hate it. Yeah, that's a big problem, dude. Or not problem, but that's like a big thing. It's a common thing in a lot of our minds when we see these things. Like we know that it's going to contain something, it's going to have something in it that just rubs us the wrong way or makes us scratch our head or makes us go like, okay, here we go again, and you roll your eyes. All right, so new comics of the week. Real quick before we kick this off, I'm going to take a swig of water. Swig of water for all my working cats out there. Shout out to all of you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's get some water in, and then let's go ahead and read this list. That's that Eskimo water from a glacier in Alaska. All right, let's get it. All right, new comics of the week, guys. This is going to be for June 10th, and go to your local shop if you want to pick these up. First off on the rack, this is the big issue of the week. We got Absolute Catwoman. Number 1 is going to be hitting the shelf. The synopsis for this one reads, with all the wealth, with all the gear, with all the skills, she is about absolute apex predator. Selena Kyle has carved a good life for herself through her ingenuity and skills. She's become the greatest thief the world has ever known. No shocker there. With high-tech gear and weaponry, there's no place too secure for Catwoman. Selena has built this life for herself and thoroughly escaped Gotham. But when someone from her past comes knocking at her door, Selena's life comes crashing down around her. She'll need to get to the bottom of a mystery taking her all around the globe. Written by Shea Grayson and Scott Snyder with art by Bengal, Catwoman bursts onto the scene in the Absolute Universe. All right, so Scott Snyder is writing this, but Shea Grayson, look at this writer down here next to Scott Snyder. Don't know what she's written before. So Absolute Catwoman, the Absolute Universe is still going on. There's people that aren't fans of the depiction of, I didn't know she was race swapped. That's interesting. There's definitely people that are out there that are not fans of the Absolute Universe. There's people that are major fans of this version of the Absolute Universe. And so I'm kind of like more on the side of not really a fan of the Absolute Universe. Absolute Batman isn't something that I go and I look out for. I read the first few issues and it just ended up not really being like the depiction I like. I think Scott Snyder kind of goes out there as far as the way he takes these characters now with these multiverse and Elseworld stories that he wants to come up with. Batman and the Three Jokers was one of the big ones that I just kind of jumped off when for him as a writer. So the Absolute Universe hasn't really been something that I gravitated towards, and I checked out Absolute Green Arrow, as a lot of you guys know, 2 weeks back or whatever. There was things that I liked in Absolute Green Arrow, but there was a lot of things that I didn't like. So I was honest about it. I was honest that I liked the killer depiction in Green Arrow, and I wanted to see maybe where that goes as far as the way they take the story. But the character for Black Canary was definitely the main focus of the book, and it was just a little bit too much like real world stuff going on with her. So that's all that I had to really say about it. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be picking this up. If you guys want to check this out, I was flashing some of the variant covers right now if you're watching the video. And, some of the artwork is really cool. A lot of this there's some very good, definitely some very good looking variants here, but it's not going to be for me. So I'm probably going to pass on this one. Absolute Catwoman #1, though, hitting this week. That's like going to be one of the bigger books this week for you guys. So after that, we got Daredevil #3 from Marvel Comics. And then following after that closely, we have Transformers #33. Skybound Image is still killing it with this Transformers run, and I've heard a lot of great things about it. I need to get back into this, man, but I think instead of going to collect like the single issues, I just have to buy the trade paperbacks or the omnibus whenever they make one for this run. I've heard nothing but good things about this, though, that this Transformers run is excellent. Following that back, jumping back into DC, we got Action Comics 1099, issue number 1099. Wow, we're up there, ain't we? Jumping back into Marvel, we got X-Men #31. This looks like they're trying to do like the old 90s style for the X-Men covers. So that's definitely one thing I can take away from when I look at that cover right there, but who knows. From Marvel, we got Avengers Armageddon issue number 1 hitting the shelf as well this week. We can, for all you Marvel fans, let's go ahead. We can read. Oh damn, dude, Chip Zdarsky's fucking writing this. Golly, Chip Zdarsky did a horrible job on Batman, so that probably doesn't bode well for you guys, for you Avengers fans. Synopsis for this reads: Armageddon has arrived. Red Hulk's devastating terror across the globe must be stopped, but it will take a colossal gathering of Earth's mightiest heroes to do it, calling in the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, Wolverine, and more. But who will survive this super-powered cataclysm? There will be a pre-Armageddon Marvel Universe and a post-Armageddon Marvel Universe, but here to bear witness to the transformation. Avengers Legacy issue 803. Right on. So you guys could check that out. Chip Zdarsky's on this, so that doesn't bode well as far as the direction of this story. And then you got, who else is the editor? Michelle Marchese. So yeah, this is great. This looks real promising. Sarcasm. All right. We also got this week coming out, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 19 from ID. And we got Ben 10 issue number 2 from Dynamite. Now, you know, I saw that Ben 10 had that blind bag last week, I believe it was, when we talked about the new books. There was that blind bag for issue number 1. I didn't pick it up. My shop didn't even order this book, to be honest with you. But everything that I've heard from Dynamite, like, you know, bringing back up what's it called? The Comic Aficionados podcast that I watch. One of the guys that's on that show, Aaron Sparrow, he always talks about the dismay of Dynamite publishing and how they just horribly handle their IPs and their characters that they get a hold of. So that kind of like sits in my brain when I think about looking at anything that they are releasing that might catch my eye. I was a big fan of Ben 10 back in the day, like the cartoon series. I really liked it a lot from Cartoon Network. It was great show. But if they're doing this comic book and it's published by Dynamite, that already kind of is like a big red flag. And the writers on this one are Joe Kelly, Steven Siegel, and Duncan Rollo. I don't know. So you guys say his fucking name. I don't know how to say that. But it says right here, the synopsis is: now in possession of a mysterious alien device, not only is young Ben Tennyson taking on a variety of strange otherworldly forms, but the United States Army has him on the run. He's learning more about the Omnitrix the hard way. Also hot on Ben's trail is his grandfather Max, a man of his own set of secrets, not to mention cousin Gwen, who isn't about to sit out these adventures either. Okay, so it's just a retelling of like the origin of Ben 10. Which, they probably could mess it up. They might change his story up. Let's see. They might commit revisionist history with this one. So we'll have to see. But that is Ben 10 issue number 2 hitting this week on the shelf. Following after that, we got Barbara Gordon Breakout number 2. Because everybody wants a book about Barbara Gordon, don't we, guys? After that, we got Fury of Firestorm issue number 3. Going back to Marvel, we got Wolverine issue number 21. And then back over to DC Vertigo, we got Bleeding Hearts number 5. And then following up with even more DC, we got Supergirl number 14. And, you know, I'm curious when they put out these Supergirl comics, if they're going to be like hand in hand and showing off like, or depicting some things that they show off in the movie. If James Gunn is in the ear of any of the writers for Supergirl books currently right now. I just don't know, but we'll see. I guarantee we're going to be seeing some movie stuff after the movie officially drops. Maybe we're going to get like a preview or a prequel comic book, or we're going to get like an epilogue comic for this. Like also, you know what? That's actually a great point. I just thought of that while I was having that word salad thought. Tom King is going to put out another comic, like guaranteed. Tom King. This movie is just going to be the gateway drug so that Tom King is able to put out another book of Supergirl, or they're going to put Tom King on another story that has to do with the movie that's coming out. So I just know that I feel it in my fucking bones that Tom King is going to come out with another Supergirl book after this movie drops. Mark my words. Clip it, bookmark it now. I guarantee that's going to happen. All right, jumping back over to Image Comics, we got Dork number 5. I remember when I saw Dork hit the shelf. Dork #1 is like a very in demand book, but I don't even know. I've heard that the story is nothing really to like, like scoff at really. Yeah, more to be announced, but I don't know too much about that book. We got the Mortal Thor issue #11 from Marvel. We got Black Cat issue #11 as well, another 1111. We got DC Comics coming with Batman Gargoyle of Gotham #4. Dude, I thought that this book was already done. I didn't know that Gargoyle of Gotham was still going. That's crazy, man. Isn't this like an Elseworld? Oh, and it's a Black Label. Okay, but I thought that was an Elseworld book, but I guess I was mistaken. We got Emperor Aquaman issue #18, also coming out from DC. You got Green Lantern on the cover right there. Shout out to Green Lantern. We got The Mask issue #1. Now, this is an interesting one. This is coming out of Skybound Image, same as the Transformers line. And for those that don't know, Mask is like in one of those old school cartoon properties, like from the 80s, I want to say. It was before my time, but I know about this for sure. My dad was a fan of this, and there was like a kid's book or like a children's books like that were based off of The Mask that my family had gotten me when I was a kid, and that's how I know about this property, because it was like in a few children's books about this group of people right here. And so the synopsis reads, it says, new series, the next phase of the Energon universe starts here. Oh, so I wonder if they're gonna mix them in with the Transformers books. We'll see, huh? It says, the world is becoming a terrifying place. Matt Tracker needs your help saving it. Enter Mask, a network of specialists recruited to respond to the next global emergency. At a moment's notice, Tracker and his agents can deploy bleeding-edge technology that converts their vehicles and their drivers into the ultimate weapon. But Miles Mayhem and Venom are one step ahead in a secret arms race, scouring the globe for deadly weapons from this planet and beyond, ready to sell out the entire human race. Only Mask can stop them. But will Tracker's own secrets jeopardize their entire mission? Find out this week on Dragon Ball Z. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. I might check this out. I might thumb through this actually at the shop when it comes out. When I go to the shop on Wednesday, I might skim the pages. So that's a nice one right there. Cedric Pouliard. How do you say his name? Cedric Pilat. That's the guy that's making that variant. That's a nice variant cover. I like that one. Very like Miami, kind of like this actually looks like the Grand Theft Auto 6 promo image. Just take her out of this and put Grand Theft Auto 6 in front of the sun and tell me that that's not what that looks like. All right, moving on. Yeah, some variants for this. Like, yeah, okay, that's a Mark Spears variant. Yep, Mark Spears. I knew it. Yeah, we'll have to see this one. More to be announced. Maybe I'll talk about that one next Hangout with Your Floppy episode after I read it. I'll read this one. I'll check that out for sure. Mask #1. All right. And then keeping it going, we got Sentry issue #4. It's going to be coming out from Marvel. Then following after that, we have Green Lantern Corps #17. It's going to be coming out. I'm going to pick that up, of course. We got Alias Red Band #4. Then back over to DC Comics, we got The Nice House by the Sea issue #10. And then we have more fake Star Wars. We got Star Wars Shadow of Maul. Instead of Maul Shadow Lord, we got Maul Shadow of Maul. I love the way that they configure these titles for their books. More fake Disney Star Wars. I know everyone in the chat and the replay is going to like watching this part. It says Blood Gamble, the Star Gauntlet, a deadly pod race that takes place in the streets of Janix, whatever, draws thousands of spectators and gamblers from all over the galaxy. Fortunes are won and lost, and so are lives. In the midst of all this chaos, Lawson uncovers a gambling conspiracy and casino heist that puts him on an unavoidable collision course with Maul himself. Okay, so it says prelude to the hit show on Disney Plus. Hit show, eh? Really reaching, aren't we? Look at the eyes. Look at how the eyes don't even like match up. Look at the artwork on this. Who is this fucking guy? Who the fuck is this guy? who, like, who is this guy? Isn't like that the animation still or whatever from the show that they just threw that on a cover? How fucking lazy is that cover right there? Golly, dude. Oh, this is horrible artwork. Dude, look at that. There's your Pride cover, guys. Everybody, check it out. That's your Pride cover for Shadow of Maul. Oh my god, man. Fake Disney Star Wars, ladies and gentlemen. Fake Disney Star Wars. All right, so that's wild shit. All right, yeah, I don't have anything more to say about that. That's just crazy, dude. All right, I think we're getting to the close of like the initial releases, and then we can go ahead and probably wrap up for the night. We got Jay and Silent Bob, Jays of Future Past, issue number 1. Yikes. Ghost Pepper, issue number 12 from Image Comics. We got another Image book, G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, number 329. And then we got from Marvel, we got Bishop, issue number 1. We got a new, look at how fat that 1 is on the cover right there. Big old fat issue 1. And then we got back to DC. We got Justice League Dream Girls, a DC Pride event, number 2. Oh, fuck my life. I don't even want to click on that to read what the synopsis is for that. Captain Marvel, Dark Past, number 3. And, of course, we got a homage to the first appearance of Punisher on this one. We got Desecrator on the cover right there. And then that was... I don't even know why I clicked on that one. I didn't need to. And then going down, scroll. We got Civil War Unmasked, issue number 2 from Marvel. We got Fall of the House of Slaughter, issue number 2. We got Witchblade, issue number 22, coming out as well from Image. Then we got Alien King Killer, number 3. Now, I bought the first issue of this. It already came out. I know this has been out for a month or so now. And I bought issue number 1 last week, barely, and I still have yet to read it. But I want to read issue number 1 before I talk more about this, because I love Alien. I love Xenomorphs. I love everything that has to do with the Alien franchise. Is there misses in this franchise? Of course there is. You know, Alien 3 and Alien, what was it? Alien Resurrection? Is that what the fourth? Someone's gonna call me a fake fan in the chat, but the fourth Alien film is definitely a fumble if I've ever watched one. But more to be, I have to read issue number 1 of this King Killer series before I can talk about it. And then we have the Muppets Noir issue number 4. Space Ghost issue number 12 is also hitting the shelf this week. And then we have Blood and Thunder issue number 14 from Image Comics. More Image goodness. We got M1 Monster Racing League number 1. We got Rat City number 25, that Spawn Universe Elseworld story. Mark Spears Monsters issue number 0. Interesting. We got Tigress Island issue number 4. We got more Image books. Image is just coming at us with a bunch of them. The Thing on the Doorstep issue number 5 is going to be hitting this week. We got Speed Racer issue number 9 from Mad Cave Studios. And what the fuck is this? Godzilla's Masterpiece Theater presents Godzilla's The Odyssey. Oh my goodness. What the fuck is this? An oversized standalone one-shot smashes its way across the Odyssey. Homer's The Odyssey is widely considered to be the greatest epic of all time. So how could you possibly make it more epic? Fill it with kaiju. That's how. Odysseus's journey home was already challenging enough, but what if instead of storms, sirens, and cyclops, the gods set monsters even more powerful than the Titans? And what if Zeus sent the most powerful one of all to assist the king on his odyssey? It's like Homer said, of all creatures that breathe and move upon the earth, nothing is bred that is stronger than Godzilla. Oh, dude, this is just gonna be a joke. This is a joke book. That's a nice artwork right there, though. I like that. That's a decent art page right there. I know this is a joke, of course. That's like the Titans homage cover right there. Clash of the Titans homage. That's kind of neat. But, you know, like, we already know, that's cool too. We already know, dude, that like a lot of the Godzilla books, the one shots, these are definitely out there as just like like kind of filler books, filler stories. They're always inserting Godzilla with like collaborations with Marvel, with DC. Like there's been so many events that Godzilla's been a part of. Everyone's had their turn with him, their fair share with Godzilla. I'm really excited for the next Godzilla film, I should say. But I don't know if I'm going to read this one. I like Godzilla. I'm a fan of the story and the character, but I don't know if I'm going to read this one. I know that Odyssey film by Christopher Nolan's coming out. A lot of people have had a lot to say about that film and like what's going to be expected of it, given the previews and the casting list that we have from it. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to read that book, but very funny to see that they're making that. Then we're going to be wrapping it up here soon. It says Youngblood issue number 100 from Image, of course. We got Kaya issue number 35. Mega Man X issue number 4 is going to be hitting the shelf as well. And then we got Batman Wayne Family Adventures issue number 204. We got Archie, the Army of Darkness issue number 5, collaboration from Dynamite Comics. Supernatural Special Castile issue number 1. Let's skip that. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, The Wings of Fate, number 1. Let's see, is that a motion picture prequel book? A Tale from the World of the Major Motion Picture. Okay, yeah, so this is, oh my god, look who's writing this. Look who's writing this book. One of the most least favorite writers that I've ever had the misfortune of ever finding out that gets work in the comic industry. Tim fucking Sheridan is writing this. For those who don't know who Tim Sheridan is, let me give you a little peek right here. Tim Sheridan was part of the trash heap that was Alan Scott's Green Lantern, where he just went on with the entire tirade of making Alan Scott like a very prominent gay figure in the DC universe, and he just ran with that, even though that was like an Elseworlds story that was made prior. Alan Scott being a big figure in the gay community. Tim Sheridan, I'm assuming he's gay himself, so it's a lot of self-insert stuff. I don't want to get into it like crazy right now, but just know I hate Tim Sheridan as a person. I hate him as a writer for DC, and I don't know why anyone else would give him work. Unfortunately, Dark Horse right here, they felt the need to give him some work for a book. And, I feel bad for any Masters of the Universe fans that are out there. If he's attached to a project like this, odds are be on the lookout for a lot of the fuckery that he's going to be putting inside of your book, because he has a track record and it's not good. So that definitely sucks to see, but it is what it is, I guess. We're getting here to the close end right here. A couple more. We got Flash Gordon number 17 from Mad Cave Studios is going to be releasing too. We got The Forged issue number 11. We got Conan the Dragonero, yeah, issue number 2. Red Sonja, She-Devil with the Sword, issue number 2. We got Skate Ali, issue number 1. Lady Mechanica, The Mechanical Menagerie, issue number 2. Gihana in Tokyo, issue number 1. And Dead by Daylight, The Hillbilly, issue number 3. Free Planet, issue number 13. And then Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes, issue number 23. And everything that follows after this, guys, is like reprints. Yeah, these are like reprints and second printings, third printings of some other issues that are already out there. Ooh, we're going to get another second printing for Battle Beast number 8. That's going to be cool. That's going to be nice. Can't wait to read that. Or can't wait to go pick up that variant, I should say. But all right, I think that's going to be it. That wraps up new comics of the week. This week, like again, I said earlier before we started this, June 10th being the day that you can go pick up any of the issues that we've talked about here on the segment. So be on the lookout for that and let us know what you're going to pick. Let us know what you're picking up and what looks good to you. We want to hear from you. So, all right, let's just go ahead and stop sharing that screen. All right. New York, Florida man said, "Nah, Captain Falcon can just talk it out with him." Red Hulk in that Avengers Armageddon or whatever the fuck they called that book. Yeah, that's gonna be. Let's see how they play that one out, shall we? And then we got February said, as an OG Ben 10 fan, you can skip the comic. Yeah. Oh, did you already read it, February? You already know what entails between the pages. That'd be funny, man. But yeah, all right. I think that pretty much wraps it up. That covered everything that I wanted to cover for this. Really appreciate all of the people that were part of the show earlier for the topics and everything. And if you stuck around to check out the new comics of the week, we appreciate you as well. That's going to be it, though, for this episode of excuse me, I was about to say H.O.W.F, like the acronym. I don't know how much of that's going to like catch on. Like if I say H.O.W.F, I don't think that really catches if I just say the full name. But hang out with your floppy. This has been an episode of Hang Out with Your Floppy, and I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. So shout out to the chat, shout out to the replay crew. You guys are awesome, man. Love always coming here to talk about some topics with you guys. Definitely makes it more engaging when we have the chat into it, the conversation as well. So again, thank you guys so much. And that'll be it for me. And I'll go ahead and end this on a good note. And may the force be with you all. Now piss off. Good night, everybody.
Nostalgia に満ちた許しもないってクエピートが真実の研究を